Hi. This next interview is with a true American leader, Lieutenant General Russel Honoré. When I covered the Bush White House during Hurricane Katrina, at first there was utter chaos. Then General Honoré was named to take charge of the recovery effort. In just days, he showed us what the best of America can do to save lives, direct resources, and stand up in the face of disaster. His leadership gave the nation hope, along with measurable progress. So we found him at his home in Louisiana, which is one of the states hardest hit by COVID, and asked his advice on how the government should respond to this pandemic. This is a man with wisdom and a track record of success in disaster management. I think it's worth your time to hear him out.
I have to say, sir, it is such a great honor to be able to talk to you. I covered the White House during Katrina. There was so much uncertainty and anxiety at the time, and when you were named to take charge, you gave the nation a sense of relief and confidence because there was such leadership. So thank you for what you did then, and thanks for talking to me.
Well, it's good to be here with you.
I'd like to start by simply asking, if you were in charge of overseeing COVID response for the United States of America, what would you do?
Let's start from the bottom up. I would make sure everybody understand what our mission is, to save lives. That's the number one priority. It's not the freaking economy. It's saving lives. That'll come later. Saving lives is number one. Number two, I would make sure I'm giving accurate updates to the American people. We have all this technology. We can track every phone number in America, but we can't tell a county hospital or a governor when the truck is coming with the PPE. I would give people and tell them what's coming and when it's coming and where it's going. We've got the ability to do that. So keeping people informed would be key. I would reinstitute the truth in the process.
The truth.
Yeah, not what you think people want to hear, but tell them to it as it is. And then I would basically turn the logistics of distribution over to the Department of Defense, not FEMA, but the Department of Defense, to handle the movement thereof of the logistics.
May I ask, who would you have oversee the testing effort, both the COVID test and the antibody test? Would you have DOD do that as well, or?
No, I think that should stay inside of CDD and HHS.
In terms of getting it out to the country and the logistics.
Oh yeah, the logistics to distribute it, yes.
That would belong to DOD?
I think we would want to do that through the military.
Because?
Because we got a need for speed and we know how to make shit happen. And we don't work 8 hours a day. We're a 24-hour-a-day operation. And we know how to do this globally around the world. Who do you want handling this? FEMA, who has not finished the houses in Puerto Rico? Houses not rebuilt in Puerto Rico. FEMA, the houses in St. Croix and Virgin Islands not rebuilt. The houses in Houston, not rebuilt. Or do you want the organization that can fly aircrafts around the world and pick out a vehicle and either look at it or blow it up? Which organization you want? What level of precision you want running this?
U.S. Army precision.
And that's what we do globally.
So why isn't DOD running it now?
We could tell when the jet left China. Why? Because we're looking at the airports. You with me? And we could tell, did that jet stop someplace and kick some stuff out the door? Okay? Or we could use our own jet because we got jets.
States are currently competing with one another to purchase PPE and ventilators on the private market. Does it have to be that way? And how would it be different if it were run by DOD?
Is that we would take control of all stocks based on the Defense Production Act. We would basically seize it inbound and send it where it needs to go. Right now, they're kind of doing that, but they're giving half of the stocks to distributors, private companies, in essence, so those private companies can make money. And the way they're making money is they're selling it to the highest bidder. It might be the state of Louisiana who promised them $5 for a mask, and FEMA might have promised them $5.25, and they sell it back to FEMA. These are people who know people by name in the administration who get these sweet deals. It's called disaster capitalism, and it happens after every disaster. The other thing I would do is I would direct every governor, you must have a liaison team in every hospital. And it could be 3 to 5 National Guard soldiers in every hospital in the country to inventory all of the PPE and ventilators. Then we would go do that for every hospital in the country. So when they report to their governor what they have, that 100-bed hospital said, boy, so we've got 10 days supply on hand. Then the governor would have the authority, you're a 100-bed hospital, you got 10 days supply. 40 miles from you, there's a 100-bed hospital. They only have 1 day supply. So I'm directing you to send 3 days supply to the one with 1 day supply. And then we will backfill you or send you your money for what you sent. We'll do the accounting. That's not happening now because we've never determined what stocks were on hand and where they were. This only goes back to the history of the United States Army.
This is what the Army's expert at, yes?
And we did it to win the war against the British, and we fought 2 world wars based on a common understanding of that doctrine.
Which is?
So if you got a formation, your boss know what a day of supply is for your formation. That's why we got to have it fed up through the system. So hopefully on the other side of this disaster, you'll be able to open a website and see how many days of supply every hospital has. The other thing I would clear up with the American people is the notion that the national stockpile doesn't belong to the states.
Who does the stockpile belong to? Is it there for the states?
If I ask you who does the money in the treasury belong to, how would you answer that?
The American people.
Right. It's the same old. And it's controlled through the executive branch to HHS and CDC.
When we started talking, you really emphasized the importance of honest communication. I wonder if you'd address for us, why is that so vital from the White House? And if you were speaking to President Trump today, what advice would you give him? Leadership during disaster. What does it say?
Can you read it?
I can't read all of it.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. Why is raw honesty so vital from the White House, from our leadership in a time like this? Even if it's a painful truth that they'd have to share.
Because a disaster, by its nature, defeats you. And there's a lot of people who don't understand that. That's why it's called a disaster. In the first half of a disaster, you're going to lose the game. And everybody needs to understand that. You know, there's still people arguing about Katrina. Well, the levees weren't high enough. Well, you know what? All y'all was living down there. You didn't see a damn thing about how high the levee was. The storm came in and it defeated us, right? The city flooded. and it became a disaster. If the city didn't flood, it would have been an inconvenience. You with me?
Yeah.
But the levees broke, and it's a disaster. You're going to lose, just like we lost on 9/11, and we lost on Pearl Harbor. That day we lost, and this virus, and a lot will say, well, you know, General, it didn't have to be that way. But right now we're losing. But for us to win, we cannot, at this point, like driving a bus out of a ditch, look through the rearview mirror to get out the damn ditch. We need to look forward and get out of this. And now is the time for us to look forward to see how we can, from defending against this disease, is go on the offense. You got to understand, Americans, every now and then, as we saw in Katrina, it won't be an instant solution. You know, after 6 weeks, I was able to leave Katrina. But it took 10 years to rebuild. Okay? So this is not going to happen quick because we got every state in the union. I visualize we will not get control of this until taking a test to see if you're positive will be like brushing your teeth in the morning. We put more money than anything else in this organization called the United States military. Then right now, your main job is to save America, because in the Constitution, you know what's in the Constitution? The purpose of the United States military is to secure the American people. That's our number one mission. It doesn't say shit about Europe or Afghanistan or Iraq. It says secure the American people. So you want a jackass lead this or a racehorse? Okay? Both of them have a purpose. This will go uphill slowly and can walk all day. This one's go fast. And to save lives, you need speed. And that's what the thoroughbred brings you. I hope that was useful to you.
General, I cannot thank you enough. This is one of the most special interviews I've ever had the privilege of doing. You are just an embodiment of the best of America. So thank you for your service.